Bam. And we're live, baby.
Hey, hey, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. This is Armand and TJ. We're back to another episode of Latvian versus the American. We're gonna go through some of the pay-per-view fights recently, and then the recent fight card, the last fight of Anderson Silva himself. So,
Anderson Silva himself. My man, I'm looking forward to it. And as we mentioned earlier, you got the Latvian jersey. You're ready to work me over. All right. So this will be interesting. Oh, it's flexing on me. All righty.
yeah. So,
So UFC
I mean,
254.
I guess if we jump into the pay-per-view, I guess score-wise, I had basically a perfect score for this one actually. So and
Did you
and
did you, did you pick Volkov over Harris?
yep,
You
yeah.
did too?
I mean,
Okay. Yeah, the only
yeah.
one
I
the
mean,
only, the only one I lost was the Magomedov, I think.
and didn't you also go for Cannoneer?
Yes, I did go Cannoneer. You're right. I did go Cannoneer. Yes, you're right.
Yeah, I guess I should always stick with Whitaker because like every time I picked him, picked against him. I always lost, but finally I picked him and I won. So I'm
Yeah.
just gonna be sticking with him.
Cool, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, what do you think about the main event of that fight? Because that was something. Like I saw like it going in that way, but what I was really surprised was how well Habib was doing standing up against Gaethje. I mean, they were going like 50-50, I think, standing up. But apart from the leg kicks, the good leg kicks Gaethje
Mhm.
landed, Habib wasn't backing down. He was going tooth and nail, standing up, and obviously when they went to the ground, it was just so one-sided. And what really like surprised me, I think, was the finish itself. Like you could imagine him mounting him and getting some hold or just taking his back, but then he was just like a long limb jiu-jitsu guy who just threw like a mounted triangle out of nowhere, and I was like, is this really happening? And that was that. And I think referee could have stepped in. I think Gaethje was like already tapping, and he
Yeah.
just was just not the best refereeing. You could see Gaethje just passed out afterwards.
Mhm. Yeah, man. I think you hit the nail right on the head. I think the pressure on the feet that Khabib was utilizing in the first round, I think, was really good. I think I think that round was really close. I think they said they gave it to Gaethje. I don't know about that. And then, like you said, the second round, I mean, he just showed what he really ultimately did was just show the two sides of his skill set that nobody ever talks about, really striking, and then I would say submission game. But like you said, that's more advanced. That's more not typical for him as a wrestler to think, oh, let me sit back and do a triangle instead of reaching for a choke or punching. So I think that was just the way to end it because he kind of put a stamp down on all the, I guess, issues or weaknesses that he has. And then, I mean, the retirement, talk about like one of the best retirements like possible, I think, or one of the most emotionally impactful. And I was really hoping. I thought if anybody was going to do it when they say I'm done, they're done. But then already we're hearing some rumblings. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens for sure. Like it's very rare if someone like retires on the top. Like only GSP comes to mind, but even that whole Hendricks fight had some stains over it, and then he kind of came out against Bisping. But yeah, it's very rare you see someone with a perfect record just retiring. But I mean, we'll see how it goes.
Yeah. And then Whitaker Cannonier, that went one of the ways that I thought it could have gone. I thought Jared was going to be a lot more active. He seemed to really break or injure one of his forearms, and that seemed to stifle it a little bit. But Whitaker's stand up is fantastic. And yeah, he pretty much. I mean, I wouldn't say coasted necessarily because he was working, but he glided to a pretty good decision win.
Yeah, I mean that kind of went the way I was expecting it to go. I thought Cannonier is going to show like good performance and gonna hurt Whitaker. He'll do some again good leg kicks, but ultimately, Whitaker I think was just better at mixing things up, especially in that last round. They were running at 1-2 head kick, and that's ultimately won him the fight.
Yeah. And then, so I heard what's next for Whitaker might be Costa. Because
I could
obviously
see that happening.
Yeah, because Izzy looks busy, but we'll see, man. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, absolutely. And then the next one is a Volkov-Harris fight. I was also kind of thinking it's going to go that way, that unless Harris lands a big punch early, Volkov is just going to be the more technical striker and just beat him. And what was interesting, that Volkov came in at 265 pounds, which was very unusual for him because he's always like tall and lanky. He was like 6'7", 220, 230. 240, and now he came in at the limit, so 6'7", 265. That's a big, scary guy. So he's packed on that muscle on, and then it was just like a push kick. It was a push kick, but I think damage might have been done already, and haven't like read too much into it. But could have been like not only like a good kidney shot, but a liver shot, I would say, but also. He might have also cracked his ribs or something might have happened because that was pretty easy way to go like down.
Yeah. Volkov finally came through for me. I picked him a couple times and he's let me down. That's not fair. No, he lost. He did not let me down. But that, like you said, that kind of went the way I thought it was going to go with his tall lankiness. I thought he was going to keep him on the end. I thought Harris had a good shot if he got inside and landed something, but I thought Volkov was going to keep him on the outside. Like you said, didn't think it was going to necessarily end that way, but that went the way I thought it was going to go, and I'm interested to see him, like you said, at the brink, continuing on.
Yeah, he was mentioning Overeem and Junior Dos Santos, so those could be very good technical striking matchups, and I think
I like those a lot.
Since Volkov's still kind of the younger fighter, I think those could be like good opponents for him to just kind of build his name farther up the ladder.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
And Magomed Ankalaev and Ion Kutalaba finally took place after like 5 predictions. No one slipped on the banana peel on the way to the octagon, so they actually got in there, mixed it up, and Ankalaev I think he's one of these Chechen fighters that's in the heavier weight classes, could do some damage. I mean, apart from that one last-second submission loss he had, he's been just dominant throughout his entire career.
Oh yeah, no, you hit you said it best. We've been waiting on this one for a while. It's a beautiful knockout combination I landed at the end of the first round. So definitely looking forward to him getting a new opponent.
Yeah, right? I guess he can put 2020 behind him. Had like a one fight already ended in controversy, and then so many cancellations, like a year of Kutalaba for him, so he can put that behind and then move on in his career.
his Kutalaba year. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
What else? I mean, we had Lauren Murphy sub that last minute replacement in the second round. Kind of thought we was going to go. Stephen Struve's comeback was not successful as he lost at the end of the first round to Tai Tuivasa, which I like in terms of the fact that I think Tai Tuivasa has more of a chance of kind of making a title run. Casey Kenny, Lab looked real good against Nate Wood, who's a really good prospect. I'm just throwing stuff out there. Anything that you're seeing left, my man?
I think, Tuivasa Struve. I think, I watched Struve since I got into MMA, and I think might be around time he would call it quits because he's done it many times already beforehand. And not only the heart issues, but the kind of the head damage he's taken. So they only 32 years old still. As looking at the record, 9 losses by knockout. That can't be good for sure. And this again kind of proves that he gets a win in here and there, but it's just kind of the trend continues. And especially still can remember that Mark Hunt walk away knockout. That's still kind of just that view, his jaw being broken of it.
Yeah. I remember, I think my first time seeing Stephen Struve was UFC 104. He had a comeback and knockout in the second round, and it was absurd. Good for him.
Yeah, I'm looking at my record. Yeah, I'm thinking actually first time I saw him was against Roy Nelson. I think that was I was actually really surprised that he got knocked out, but then I kind of kept following him. He kind of built up a good record, even beat Stipe Miocic. still remember that fight well. But then, yeah, that Mark Hunt KO loss, and then that Overeem loss that he had live, actually, that I got to see in Phoenix. And, yeah, where Overeem completely went in for a double leg out of nowhere and just grounded and pounded him.
Yeah. Nice, man. Cool. Anything else on this one?
I think it's looking at the card, I guess, on the early prelims, Joel Alvarez beat Alexander Yakovlev early on. Yakovlev was kind of like a good prospect coming in a few years ago, but I think this might have been a loser leaves town matchup for him.
Yeah, that happens, man. And then Sam Alvey got a draw. That's a little interesting. I missed that somehow. Did you see that?
I actually did not go to see that one. Yeah, but yeah, Sam Alvey was on a 4-fight losing streak, so I guess that kind of keeps him still around. And I mean, still a good fighter, but yeah, it's just kind of gets thrown in at these young top prospects all the time.
Yeah, it looks like it was a tale. If I'm just looking at the stats, striking looked close. Sam had more. Dan Jung looked like he had more takedown defenses, so it's probably a tale of Sam probably did a little bit better on the feet, and it was a question of clinch control over striking.
Yeah.
And then someone probably got a point deduction because that doesn't make sense. Boo. Anyways, not a big deal.
Yeah. I guess, yeah, we can move on to the next card. And so the main events of Uriah Hall and Anderson Silva in his last fight, and I mean, Anderson was showing some good technique early on.
Good signs, man. Yeah.
You could just kind of tell that, like, just the speed and the timing is off. Like, you could see he was like in like this matrix mode, like way faster than everyone beforehand. But now he was just kind of just coming in, and then Uriah was catching him with big punches. Never seen Anderson this like cut up in a fight beforehand as well. I felt like he was never getting cut in his fights. And
it's funny, I never thought of that, but you're right. I can't think of him getting. Well, he doesn't get hit very often.
Yeah, and he got cut up pretty badly. And then Uriah, obviously, he's kind of been like inconsistent, but when he's on his game like he was, like, yeah, he's still a dangerous fighter. And he got that knockout and potentially can resurrect his career with this win.
Yeah. Definitely, I think Silva was winning in the really early stages of that fight, and then Hall started taking over. I think he started getting comfortable. I think you hit the nail on the head, and I think you're right. I mean, just you could almost tell, and I think it's probably a product of his own doing because he was so dominant. But yeah, he looked different. It didn't look the same. And like you said with Hall, luckily this can most likely catapult him to higher heights, but I don't know if he's losing the first one, possibly 2 rounds to Silva at 45, man. That, like you said, inconsistent, but Hall's always got that knockout shot. So that's always fun to watch.
No, we'll see what Anderson happens. Maybe he'll want to come back at Vitor's Legends League for another front kick to the face.
Yeah, Vitor again. I hope that's it. Man, I hope that's the one right there.
He said the UFC, maybe he wants to do kickboxing or bare knuckle fighting, but I hope not.
Shut the gosh, man.
Watch him mix it up against Artyom Lobov. That's bare knuckle FC or something.
Can you imagine? I'd buy that pay-per-view over a lot of other pay-per-views. You'd be surprised.
Yeah.
All right.
What else?
Versus Feely. I loved this fight. This was fun, man. It really, I mean, it was, I thought it was pretty obvious. It seemed like there was 2 rounds where Bryce clearly had just more control, just a decent amount more. The second round, Feely definitely kept it on the feet and beat him on the feet, 29-28. I thought both people's stock to rise because I think Bryce Mitchell, that funny guy from Arkansas, he's getting a lot of hype, and Andre Feely looked presentable.
Yeah, I think those camo shorts. How'd you like those?
I love it.
Reebok has made.
I love those camo shorts, man. He good thing he won. If he asked for those shorts and didn't win, that'd be funny.
Yeah. But yeah, that's definitely Bryce Mitchell, a great up-and-comer. Definitely could see him in like getting a big fight after this. And Greg Hardy and Maurice Green, that was an interesting fight. Yeah, Maurice Green's always kind of tough. Yeah, it definitely shows heart in a lot of these fights. Still remember that Olenek fight where he was like just still hanging in there until the very, very end.
Yeah.
But yeah, Greg Hardy is just he's just a super athlete, and like it's almost like one of those cases where Joe Rogan said if LeBron James picked up MMA, he could even have some success probably, right? Because he's just such a talented athlete. And I feel like that's the thing with Hardy. Maybe he won't win the UFC belt, but he could definitely knock some guys out in the UFC.
Yeah. I'm glad you said that because because I've heard that before. The if LeBron James or if this guy picked fighting, and it wasn't even, and to your point, you're saying they would fare well successful. That the quote I heard is he would be the best. People are convinced that if he started, he would be the best simply because, like you said, NFL and NBA, these are super athletes, right? So I like the fact that we get Greg Hardy because, like you said, he was not only in the NFL, he was probably, I don't know if he was in the All-Pro, but he was decent. He was good enough to have a name. I knew who he was, and I don't follow football that much. So I like the fact that he's in here, and I think he's like 7-2. So he's just demonstrating that not only are their athletes really good, but so is MMA's. Because he didn't just walk in and start doing it. Now, granted, he didn't start when he was 0 years old, but still.
Yeah, the American Top Team definitely have done a good job training him. I think his only fight he kind of got beat was that Volkov fight. Other fights, there's been some controversies with finishes, things like that. Yeah. So we'll see how he fares. I think he could get like a bigger opponent after this.
Yeah, and Volkov was just too soon.
Yeah, and to your point, it's like maybe, like LeBron, let's say, picked MMA, started doing boxing when he was 8 years old, and probably, you could see.
But what if he doesn't? But here's the thing. An entirely different skill set, and I get he's a athlete in general, but there's mixed martial arts athletes. There's fighting athletes. I mean, just because he is super talented doesn't mean that LeBron James ever would have taken well to getting punched in the face. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just don't like how it's just, he's a super athlete, so he would have been a good fighter. I've seen a lot of super athletes get punched in the face, and those athletic abilities go away quickly. So
so maybe maybe not LeBron, but maybe one of the guys definitely could have made it. But that's brings up Anthony Johnson, Rumble Johnson, who was really a good fight, but he said he liked the athletic aspect of it. He never really liked pure fighting. He was
good
just
example.
Good at it.
If he enjoyed it, got into the war, Anthony Johnson with his wrestling background,
dude.
But and that's the interesting thing with these sometimes it's almost like when you're really talented, you almost have the trajectory to just kind of, you get used to taking practices off because you're so good that it's a little bit easier for it to kind of find its way into other avenues, so to speak. You know what I mean? So still, it's just not, I just don't like when they say, if he started, he'd be the best. There's a lot of factors that goes into it. I think that's a disrespect to all the athletes that are currently competing.
Absolutely.
And I think it's a disservice to just athletics in general. Come on, there's different.
Because should be like John Jones picked football, he could have been the best quarterback in the business or something.
Close, yeah.
Yeah. And then what else? You had Kevin Holland with another win. It was interesting finish. It was just almost he shoved him in the mat, and that was
his style is very similar to MVP for me in the case that it's just unorthodox. He just seems to just throw stuff when not necessarily with technique. He just thinks or has a really good feeling that's gonna land, and it does all this weird stuff. He's a talker. He's talking up Izzy. I like it. And, I just want him to little step up in competition because he's fought a couple of guys in a row, and I think I would want to see a top 5 because in one of those guys was Joaquin Buckley, the guy who did the viral KO.
Yep.
Fun fact.
What do you think about the Bobby Green's win streak coming to an end? It was you didn't expect that one out of nowhere.
The which one?
Bobby Green against Thiago Moises. Yeah, since Bobby Green's win streak came to an end, he was on quite the roll, but might need to take a little bit of time off because he's had 4 fights in June already.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, take some time off. It was good. I thought he won. Maybe I'm crazy.
Yeah. I mean, it was definitely a close one, but I think maybe he should take a little bit of time off and just keep up whatever he's doing in the gym because that's working, and then next year come back better.
I mean, and then Thiago Moises can use this to catapult him. Green's a good name. He's on a 4-5 win streak. I like it.
And
we got Alex Hernandez with the KO over.
Oh, that was just boxing clinic he put on there.
Yes. I like this guy, man. I like his skill. I like his talent. When he comes and shows up, he shoes up. So hopefully this is just a sign of things to come to kind of build on. Even he said it, and some people say this, but he said it in a way where it's not doesn't have an offense. So I kind of believe it a little bit more, which is where it's like I'm done getting out of my own way. Like maybe he learned something or hit rock bottom or something changed, but hopefully.
I mean, he was thrown into the wolves right away. He didn't have that proper build up, and that's why he kind of like eventually hit the wall. But I think he can just rebuild. I heard he's got new camp as well, so. Definitely paid dividends. You could just see already a few seconds beforehand that this is going to be over. He's just looking for that big knockout shot. And Chris Grussmacher also just he had picked apart Joe Lozon in his last fight, but Hernandez just showed superior striking.
Yeah, no, I like gosh, I always have a hard time with names. Grussmacher or whatever. Because he was like the Ultimate Fighter, I feel like
he was in the lab as well back in the day.
Oh yeah?
That's nice. I've actually had some sessions with him. Have actually done some Muay Thai with him. So
dude, that's gotta be so cool seeing these guys like fighting here when you've I've punched that guy in the face or that guy's punched me in the face.
Vice versa.
Probably vice versa. Yeah, right.
Yeah, but so that's definitely great experience, kind of just seeing like them in the corners of each fighter, things like that.
That's so cool.
And then looking into other undercard, Sean Strickland was the guy I was following back in the day a lot. He was still at the 21-3 record right now. So
did he just take a hiatus? Was he hurt or something? Is that what it was?
He was in a motorcycle accident. Yes. So he actually followed him on Instagram. He was, I think he was like coming back. He had only lost to Santiago Ponzinibbio and Kamaru Usman. And so he's definitely was good, poised to make a comeback. And then he just posted this post. Well, that didn't go well. And he's just in the hospital bed after an accident. And it took him 2 years pretty much to come back. And he moved back to middleweight, which is a better weight class for him because he's pretty big guy. How even Bisping on commentary said that he is probably bigger than me walking around, and he was draining himself to welterweight, and that's why you saw him losing to Usman, Ponzinibbio, but he's definitely showed some crisp striking. His ground game's good. He's been like fighting professionally since age of 16, so it might be finally time for him to take the next step.
Yeah, no, I'm with you, man. I remember watching him a long time ago when he beat some other prospect at the time.
This is Bubba McDaniel might have been one of the ones. He was John Jones's like boy on the Ultimate Fighter. Everyone was kind of building him up, and I remember in these interviews said, "Oh, I'm definitely way better than him," like, and just so confident, and he's had some other wins on the record. I see like Tom Breeze, Court McGee.
Tom Breeze, that was a real big prospect fight back when that happened when Strickland fought.
Luke Barnett, if you remember him as well. He's had wins over all of these guys. So
nice. Looking forward to because I was gonna say the rest of the prelims was kind of a tale of Strickland looking good. There's a lot of cool finishes, man. I love when the prelims deliver finishes. I mean, obviously.
These are definitely some really good prelims. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, man. And that's all I got on this card, brother.
Yeah. I guess we can just dive into MMA news a little bit, and then we can preview we can preview the Santos Teixeira main card right now.
Yeah. We could do that one real quick because I'm looking at it. I think we can knock this one quick.
Delia and Jan seems to be the first fight on prelim. So, do you think about this one? Delia is just coming off of a win.
Gosh, this one is. I think it depends on which Claudia Gadelha shows up because as of late, she's been a little bit more inconsistent than what she was in the beginning. There was a beginning stage of her career where she was definitely the number 2, like right behind Joanna. And then Jan's kind of coming in with a little bit more steam because she's a little bit newer to it, right? Is she a good prospect, right?
Jan?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's 31, but yeah, it looks like it's just only.
That's what I thought. I'm gonna go with what's up?
Yeah, only one loss in 2010, so she hasn't lost in forever, and has wins over Angel Hill as well, Karolina Kowalkiewicz. So I'll go with Jan on this one.
You're picking Jan. I am going to go with Jan as well, believe it or not. I like the new gun on the rise on this one, and I think it'll be a little passing of the torch. Yeah, and Gedalia's coming off that split decision win over Hill and then a decision over Marcos. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Jan based off previous body of work, I guess you could say.
Yeah. Look at the next one. You got Ian Heisnich against Brendan Allen. Brendan Allen's also young prospect, has had some wins recently UFC, including over Kevin Holland, Tom Breeze. So I think this is like his fight to lose. I think he's definitely the favorite on this one.
Oh yeah, most definitely, yeah. But Ian Heinrich, man, I think he's in the top 15, and what's what I'm looking for? He's pretty well rounded. He pretty much seems decent at everything. But like you said, I think especially the big thing that stands out to me is that he's got some bigger wins recently. Like you brought up the Kevin Holland one, I should say. Tom Breeze, yeah. Woo, that's a good one. Damn. Did you say Brendan Allen? Is that who you picked?
Yes.
Yeah. Damn. Be lame, man. I think I'm gonna do the same thing.
Oh.
Yeah, brother. I'm gonna do the same thing. I think Brendan Allen's gonna come in and do fairly well against this veteran, so to speak.
Yeah.
Cool.
And then next one you got Raoni Barcelos against Khalid Taha. Only like I seen Raoni against Saeed Nurmagomedov looked really good, and I think it's also one of these fights. This is his fight to lose because look at Khalid's records, had some losses in UFC, coming off of a win over Boston Sam Indo, I think the best name in MMA potentially, but otherwise I'll go with Raoni on this one.
Yeah, man, I'm just pulling them up so I can confirm what I want to do. Because I probably already know, but I always like to check out the records one more time just to kind of give it to me. Oh yeah, taking it in. But yeah, man, I think so far all these fights seem to be, maybe I'm crazy, kind of the young gun. Yeah, young gun, veteran, young gun, veteran, young gun. A little bit more.
Yes, that is the way. Yeah, I guess the main event is going to be a close call, but otherwise, you got definitely see that same pattern.
I'm gonna keep on going with the pattern of the new guys, man. I'm gonna agree with you. I think Raoni's gonna get it. I think the first 3 fights of the main card, actually 4, if I'm gonna tail it into the next one, I think they're gonna be the young guns on the rise because I do think that Tanner Bosser is gonna beat Arlovsky, and I do think it's gonna be a knockout. And I do think that I will not be too surprised if Arlovsky makes me eat my words, but I don't think he's going to.
Yeah, I mean, when is this guy gonna stop fighting? I mean, this guy has been written off like hundreds of times, but he's just one of the busiest guys on the roster now.
I have no idea, dude. His debut has to have been. I'm guessing, dude. It has to have been 2000 in.
It's 1999. Yeah, against
his UFC.
Yes, his UFC debut is 2000. Yeah.
I was off by a year. Okay. But, man, dude, he has been fighting in the UFC since before 9/11.
Wow. Yeah. And, I mean, he's had those stints at Strikeforce, but otherwise, he's and went away for a bit, but he came back in 2014, and he's ever since then he's just had so many fights. Like you imagine he came back from like for like a short run, but no, he like rebuilt himself. But yeah, at this point is just I don't think he has that like crazy knockout power that he was known for early on. And yeah, and it seems like he wins one, he loses one. That's kind of been the trend. But yeah, Tanner Bowser, yeah, he's just definitely like someone we should look out for. Yeah, and I think I'll pick Bowser on this one.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm just looking, man. It's just crazy. Like, just to go from like just to put it in perspective. So I guess the newer age, his last loss, Rosenstruck, right? And then, gosh,
Yeah.
his first name that I recognize, Rico Rodriguez. That is.
Yeah, I mean, his very first fight is against this Vyacheslav Datsik, which is this crazy political prisoner in Russia that has got quite a following. He just is like some crazy man. Yeah, you should definitely look into that one. Yeah, so he actually lost it.
He's 6-8. I beat him.
Crazy political prisoner that's like just so radical and strange, but yeah, has win over Andrei Arlovsky, so not everyone on the street can claim that. So
KO'd from a punch 6 minutes into the first round, brother. He's 6'8". He's in the super heavyweight class at 330 pounds. Oh, I love this. Okay, I'm gonna look into that later.
Yeah, absolutely, and then you can just check that out later.
Exactly. All right, brother. The main event: Santos Teixeira.
Well, yeah, that's definitely a close call for me because Teixeira has been such a good form lately.
Dude, yeah.
And Thiago Santos coming back of that completely destroying his knee in that Jones fight. But yeah, it's you still have to remember he knocked out Jan Blachowicz as well. So definitely, if he wins this one, he has like a legitimate claim to the 205 title. And looking at Teixeira, I mean, to be honest, Anthony Smith had kind of been on the decline already, and then split decision over Nikita Krylov beforehand. So I think I'll go with Santos. I think he's still after that how he did so well against Jones. I think he's gonna take this one.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I'm with you. I think this one's gonna be real good, real close one. I think it's a tale of what type of Thiago Santos comes back. Because, like you said, it's been a long time. Who knows how the injury was handled?
I mean, yeah, there's a loss from Gegard Mousasi beat him at middleweight, so he has been beaten beforehand.
Yeah, I think a lot of those. I'll try to. I think I'll give him the benefit of the doubt there. I think a lot of that was him pulling himself down to 185. I think that's been proven in the way that he fought against John Jones, or simply he's just improved a shitload. I think regardless, I think that's important to keep in mind, and that's the one thing that's really keeping me leaning towards Thiago is just the fact that he did really. The only thing that's keeping me leaning towards him is the fact that he did well against John Jones. Because all those other knockouts, like you said, against Jan and all that, I think Glover, man, I think he's got the knockout power, but I think he's got the skill to better allow himself to land it. But, man, he's not near gosh, how old is he now? He's got to be
40s.
40. Damn.
I think he's 42, 43, I think.
But it was his last fight that Anthony Smith won because, man, that was impressive. Damn.
Yeah, that was his last fight. Yeah, Glover's 41 still. Yeah.
Wow. Mm-hmm. All right. So I'm gonna go with Thiago. I think the knee's gonna heal up fine. I think he's got to win over the champion. He's got to win over John Jones. It's gonna be good. I think Teixeira's gonna be a little bit over the hill. But I can see him getting the finish. I mean, and here's the thing. What if it goes to the ground? Teixeira, come on.
Yeah, I mean, Teixeira could definitely, he's picked apart some young up-and-comers beforehand, so.
I'm going with Santos. I guess we agreed on every single one, so hopefully we're right on every single one.
Yeah. Well, we'll see what happens. And I guess we can look into, some of the other upcoming cards. You got Islam Makhachev against Dos Anjos. We touched on it a little bit beforehand. So, I think this is finally kind of the Makhachev's fight where he can take it to the next level. I think with Khabib gone from 155, he can definitely kind of start going towards a title run potentially.
Yeah. And I think another good thing about there's a couple of reasons why I think it's good to get RDA. One is because former champion, definitely not in his prime anymore. But another one is I think he's coming off of I think he just recently fought at welterweight, right? Or has he been back for a fight or two?
Yeah, he's been jumping. He's been jumping, yeah, for sure.
Because Chiesa, welterweight, Leon Edwards, welterweight. God, first off, talk about those guys. Dude, his last 5 people, keep in mind he's 4-5, but Michael Chiesa, Leon Edwards, Kevin Lee, Kamaru Usman, Colby Covington. Jeez.
Yeah. That's definitely not an easy run for sure.
But I think him coming back down to 155, I think is going to be different. I think he's going to be older. I think this is Islam's fight. I'd pick him. If it got closer, maybe it would switch, but I don't think so.
Yeah. Also looking into some other upcoming fight cards as well. I think an interesting announcement. It's gonna take place in February, so that's a long ways ahead. But Dominic Reyes is gonna fight Yuri Prochaska, if you remember him from ending No Time in No Time.
I haven't watched the wrong one.
Yeah, and I think that's an interesting one, and yeah, it's definitely brave for Reyes to take on such a dangerous fight after coming off of a loss. But Prochaska is he could if he wins this one, he could basically earn himself a title shot in 2 fights, which would be pretty crazy.
Oh yeah, my gosh, without question.
And seeing Reyes against Blachowicz, I could definitely see. I could see Prochaska beating Blachowicz, so I think I could see him also beating Dominic Reyes. So, but we'll see what happens. I mean, Israel Adesanya is moving up to 205, so God knows what's going to happen there.
Yeah, I guess that would be if you want to talk news, that would be the news. What do you think about that whole thing?
I mean, I think Easy waited. He ultimately wanted to get to John Jones, but I think he's kind of established himself at 185. So I think he could have freedom now to take on a fight in the higher weight class. He definitely has an easy road, beating a lot of names at middleweight. And it's interesting timing. All credit to Blachowicz, but definitely I could see Adesanya picking up second belt. And in kickboxing, he's even fought up at heavyweight level, so I think he might even keep going and going. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I like the way you kind of brought up the fact that I think this is now when Izzy's kind of earned it, right? Like you said, his next fight would be Whitaker, who he's already knocked out. This is where he can start doing those types of things. I think Hyun's like you said, a good matchup, and I think he was smart to do this instead of just jump into fighting John Jones at light heavyweight. Because I think it's pretty clear what Izzy wants to do. Izzy wants to take the 205 belt, and then I don't know why everyone's talking about John Jones pulling down. Like you said, he's talked about it. He's fighting John Jones at heavyweight. That's what he wants to do. He wants to fight him pretty much open weight, all in. Let's go. So
yeah, I mean, I can imagine Adesanya is walking around 215, 220-ish, something like that. So, yeah.
Probably. But the only thing that bothers me is the fact that we're talking about Thiago Santos versus Glover Teixeira. I thought that was supposed to be the number 1 contenders fight. So that kind of takes a little bit of steam off of that, so to speak.
Yeah, we'll see. And with Prochaska and Reyes as well, maybe winners of those 2 fights could fight for an interim title that UFC like to throw out there. So
there you go. And then also, we got the Bellator results, man. Corey Anderson TKO's Melvin Manhoff in his debut.
Watched it last night, actually, and it was a good one. I think he definitely stuffed Manhoff. I mean, Manhoff can knock out anyone in the world if he lands it, but yeah, he fought smart, took him down, and it was just he wasn't intelligently defending himself. And now they're talking that Corey Anderson could fight Vadim Nemkov for the belt at 205 right away, or maybe fight Ryan Bader or Phil Davis. So definitely a lot of matchups out there for him.
Yeah, and that's what all this is. He's asking for Nemkov or Davis and all that good jazz.
But Bader is still in heavyweight division meanwhile, so yeah, Bader might be a little farther away.
I didn't even think about that. Yeah, Bader might still be at heavyweight.
Yeah, he's just kind of going back and forth. He just had that loss to Nemkov that people didn't see it coming. But I mean, Nemkov is Fedor's protege, so he's definitely also could be a big name in MMA in future.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, and what else? I got the pleasure to watch Josh Barnett in that bare knuckle elbow fight, and
Thank you for sending me that, by the way.
Did you have a chance to look at it?
Like, yeah, I had a chance to look at it.
That was brutal. Yeah,
It
it was, and the guy had like good kickboxing experience, but that went kind of the way I expected. Barnett kind of used his clinch work really well and just like was elbowing him against the clinch, and then eventually it was just he couldn't continue. He's like was all swollen up, and it could have finished maybe even earlier. Yeah, so but Josh Barnett's tough.
Josh Barnett is tough. There's definitely never a question about that. I'm trying to see if there's any other news that's jumping out. I can't. Do you know of anything else?
Yeah, just
I'm on BJPen.com looking.
BJPen.com. The official news provider of our podcast.
The official news provider, BJPen.com.
Yeah.
Yeah, all the news. Yeah, now it's all showing recent interviews about the fight card. I'm not seeing anything.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely some. There was a bit of a controversy on that Bellator fight also about a soccer kick. Maybe some of the viewers or you can look into it. That's also an interesting one because you can see the Derek Anderson landed kind of like a kick on a downed opponent, but not really. But the Derek Anderson got the win.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna have to look at that at some point. I need to, dude. Honestly, bro, I didn't even know there was a Bellator yesterday, man.
Yeah, it was actually myself. I was like up late actually, and all of a sudden my YouTube notification come out. Just watch it on YouTube for free live. So
freaking lucky, yeah. Like you said, I just looked and it was like, oh, Corey Anderson is fighting tonight. I'm like, what?
Yeah. What else? Austin Vanderford, Austin Van Zandt looked really well on that card. Yeah, he picked apart his opponent, and he's kind of like a prospect in Bellator's division, middleweight division. So good for him as well.
Heck yeah, man! I love it. Like I said, I just need to be a little more on top of my game to watch those. I'm trying to look, man. I'm looking at like champions and rankings, seeing if there's anything that's jumping out in terms of news, man. I don't think so, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's and anything else you want to cover? Because it's getting pretty dark here, as you could see. You want to see the contrast, how dark was my room before and after the card.
I'm all good, brother.
The day's getting short. It's pretty miserable. Yeah,
winter is coming, my friend.
Yeah, I kind of prefer the Arizona's consistency throughout the year, like Latvia, where you get during summers it's only 3 hours of dark, but then during winter at like 2 p.m. you're starting to see the sun slowly going down. It's too early for me.
I'm with you, man. People talk about that Arizona heat, but you said it, consistency and just no cold. I'm not a big cold guy.
Yeah.
And it looks like the next time we'll be chatting, we'll most likely be discussing, obviously, Santos Teixeira this Saturday.
Makachev, Dos Anjos as well, and then look into what's changed in the MMA landscape.
Yeah, we'll probably review those two, and then preview UFC 255, and then that UFC Las Vegas on November 28th. Which
knowing COVID situation, a lot of things can change on those cards during that time. So
that is also true, right? Because the only fight on the UFC Las Vegas, I'm saying it because I don't know them, Malcolm Gordon and Sue Muderji. So we'll see what happens. It's gonna be wild.
Yeah.
And you go to do you just go to Wikipedia and that's where you see all of the? Because whenever you look up
Wikipedia, Tapology, so those are definitely good sources for everyone. Yeah.
Tapology, that's what I'll do.
Mm-hmm.
All right, brother.
All right. Good episode. Yeah. And then looking forward to some good fights in the next episode.
Yeah, man, absolutely. I will see you in about 2 weeks, and we'll see the rest of you guys in about 2 weeks, or whenever you click on us to watch us. Am I getting my point across?
All right, then. Thanks for watching.
Thank you, Latvian, for
versus the American.